I'm Temia Brinson from Mindset for Success. And tonight we have an awesome show for you. We have our special guest financial advisor, Kiara Hall, and she's an author of her new book, The Blueprint: 5 Steps to Go from Paycheck to Paycheck to Financially Lit.
But now I just do it and I just send him a text and I say, hey, this is the budget. And depending on our financial situation, when we're in a place of excess, I'm not super strict on it. But something I've done to simplify it is I have a whole bunch of different accounts. So I have like a bill account, a vacation account, an emergency fund account, a home improvement account, a
These are checking accounts?
yeah, so I'm with a credit
Wow.
union and I get all these accounts for free. So it just helps. And if you can't get all the accounts, then you could do the envelope system. And that's how
Right.
we used to do it before we knew we could get all the free accounts. But now it's like my husband got his personal savings account, I got mine, and then we got all these other type of special accounts, and I just do the budget and then put the money there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then if it's really strict and I'm like, don't even swipe the card, I'll get some cash out and be like, hey, this is the amount of cash we got for this.
Right.
Here goes your gas for the next 2 weeks. And here goes mine. And then so I flow. I'm by no means perfect where I always do the envelope. I always stick to it perfectly. And then sometimes I mess up. And
I
then
mean, yeah. I mean, that's human nature.
yeah, like, so I don't want y'all to read this book and think I got together and you got to get all perfect. No, just do something because something is better than nothing. And
So
planning
what
is
you did, was be proactive. So you basically did it yourself, and then you ran it past him. So that's pretty good. So now he's on board, and y'all on the same page.
yeah.
So
If he wasn't on board with me, then what is he on board with?
okay,
Overdraft fees or a negative bank? I'm
yeah,
like, a budget is in no way taking away what people want. All it is making sure you don't get no overdraft fees or not in a
exactly.
bad situation where you can't pay your bills. And if your spouse don't care about that type of stuff, that's a whole nother dilemma right there. Y'all might
Yeah,
want to get some counseling. Um,
okay,
there.
exactly. Okay, here about you mentioned about insurance.
Mhm.
Um, Which one do you think is better? Because it's some insurance, like you said in the book, that have a higher premium, but you don't have to take an exam. You know what I mean? And then you have that you can, lower, but you do have to take an exam. And
Mhm.
me personally, I would rather do it without the exam because I have this, you know how you have the angel on one side and the devil on the other side. Okay, but this one on this side, the devil is telling me, look to me, is telling me that the medical exam may eliminate some kind of benefit when you die. Maybe it doesn't pass on to whoever name the beneficiary. So I'm not sure if that's particularly all that legit. The one with the exam. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So in that way, it's not necessarily legit, but you did bring up a good point. So if you do insurance with no medicals, it's more expensive, but you're in there and you're good.
Right.
If you do it with medicals, I've seen people who had no idea they had a health issue. They do the exam and now it's going to be more expensive because a health issue was found. But praise the Lord, the health issue was found,
Yeah.
but it's more expensive now anyway because of the health issue. So I've seen that. And so my recommendation would be know your options, know your budget, and do what fits in your budget. Like I knew somebody who drove trucks and they was like, I don't have time for an exam. And so they just paid more and they just went on about their life and
Right.
they got insurance quick and it was good. Because let me tell you, some people, they go for the exam because it's cheaper and then they never get the exam done. So they still don't
Oh
got no
no, you
coverage.
got to follow through. Yeah.
Still don't got no
Oh
coverage.
my goodness.
So there's pros and cons to both, and there's not really a one size shoe fits all. At the end of the day, your budget is most important, that you can afford it and be able to pay for it comfortably every month.
We'll be right back right after this break.
More items on your to-do list than hours in the day? If you're in college, you know exactly what we're talking about. But there's one thing you should never be too busy to do, and that is taking time to make a budget. A budget is a financial plan that will help you make smart spending choices today while preparing for tomorrow. Budgeting will help you achieve your goals and prepare you for unexpected bumps in the road. So what goes into making a budget? First, you'll need to track your income and expenses for a particular period of time, such as a month. You can use pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. After that, making your budget comes down to a simple equation: what you earn minus what you spend. To determine your income, include items such as wages earned at work, allowances from family, and student financial aid such as grants or scholarships. To determine your expenses, include items such as tuition, books, rent, credit card payments, and car payments. Then simply subtract your expenses from your income. Are your earnings greater than your spending? If so, you could choose to invest, buy a new cell phone, or simply save for a rainy day. But what if you spent more than you earned? If that's the case, it's time to cut back on your expenses and balance your budget. You may also need to find a way to increase your income. Remember, everyone's budget is unique and it will fluctuate from month to month, so use a budget and be mindful of your daily expenses. That way you can make sure you're spending your money on things that really matter to you. When you budget, you decide where your money goes instead of wondering where it all went. And there you have it, the basics of a budget. Now it's time to create your own. Go to studentaid.gov/budget to get started.
Hi guys, this is Temia Brinson from the Mindset for Success Show, and this month we're going to be talking about finances. That's right, I call it February, the month of financial freedom. Okay, so go ahead and get ready because we're going to be talking about getting your personal finances together. We're going to be talking about things you need to know about the stock market and cryptocurrency. So get ready to take notes, get out your paper and your pen, and be sure to tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. on the Daily Gospel Network.
Why should I worry? Oh, why should I fear? If I have faith, I can take it to God in prayer. Why should I worry? Oh, why should I fear? If I have faith, I can take it to God in prayer. And I know I can leave it there. And the Lord our God is able to take every one of my cares and work it out in my favor. Oh yes he can, oh yes he can. The Lord our God is able to heal every one of our hearts. He's peace in the time of chaos. Oh yes he is, our God is able. Our God is able. So I will not worry, I won't give in to fear. I will have faith and I will take it to God in prayer. I will not worry, I won't give in to fear. And I will have faith, I will take it to God in prayer, 'cause I know I can't leave it there. The Lord our God is able to take every one of our cares and work it out in our favor. Oh yes, He can. Oh yes, He can. The Lord our God is able to heal every one of our hearts. He's peace in the time of chaos. Oh yes, He is. Our God is able, and He can deliver. Oh yes, He can. And He's going before us. Oh yes, He is. He can make a way even when there is no way. God is able. God is able. And He can deliver. Oh yes, He can. And He's going before us. Oh yes, He is. He can make a way even when there is no way. God is able. God is able. And the Lord our God is able to take every one of my cares and work it out in my favor. Oh yes, He can. Oh yes, He can. The Lord our God is able to heal every one of our hearts. He's peace in the time of chaos. Oh yes, He is. Our God is able.
And now, let's continue with our discussion.
When it comes to insurance, there's going to be term, and then there's going to be permanent insurance, and there's so many different types of permanent insurances. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a personal scenario that kind of depends on you. I mean, for most people, if you're young and you're healthy, and you're doing well, term is probably going to be the best option for you because you can get it much cheaper. You can have investments on the side. By the time your term insurance is over, you could have saved, you could have as much in investments as you purchased in insurance.
Right.
So in that aspect, it could be really great. But I've seen people in their 70s to where term made no sense for them because they could have paid $10 more and had a permanent policy for about the same amount of coverage. And so it's not a one size shoe fits all. And it's important that you're careful to speak to an agent who looks at the overall picture and shares with you your options so that you can be informed and make the decision for yourself, not somebody who's just going to try to push you and guide you a certain way. That might not be the best way for you. Like I've even seen a product, it's kind of like a term because it doesn't have any cash value, but it goes to like age 121. It's more expensive, but if it's in your budget and you know you have a lot of wealth and you can lock in a lot of coverage, that might be really good for you in regards to your estate planning to get a product like that because there is no taxes that has to be paid on that, and that can help with continuing to leave a legacy for your family. So I think it's important to get with a financial planner to understand what's best for you. But most people could get term, and it's a simple solution, but not everybody fits in that.
Right. Okay. And then right quick, investing. I noticed you said in here 15%. I usually try on my personal investments. I usually try, 15. I have gone overboard sometimes because I see a good deal. I need to work on that anyway. But 15 is a good number. 10 or 15% of investment stocks. or, funds, ETFs, or what have you. Explain about that, or just give a general synopsis, like what it's like or what's best as far as investing.
15% is a generic guide that's good and helpful, and it won't hurt you to put it away, or it could hurt you if 15% don't fit in the budget and you can't pay your other bills. Really, the best thing to do is to figure out what your goals are, like what type of lifestyle you want to live in retirement, how much money you're going to need, and how much you need to put away to hit that goal.
Right.
That's the best thing to do, because now you're working towards a specific plan, not just putting away a generic number and seeing what happens. Although putting away that much will be very good over time. But the best thing is to get very specific and see, because depending on how late you start, you may need to put away more. And depending on how early you start, you could potentially not have to put away 15%, still hit your goal, and putting away 15% will have you well over what you even needed. So,
right.
And I just threw that out there to give people a goal to go after. But the best thing to do would be to speak to a financial planner or start doing some math and figuring out exactly what you need and to go that way.
Okay. I noticed that you said that giving 10%. Well, this is how I do my money. Okay. I do the tithe, the 10%, but I also, because we have something in common. I'm a PK too.
Yeah.
My dad, my pastor, he teaches also to give to the poor. So I kind of, give at least 5% to the poor, the needy. I choose different organizations, whatever God lay on my heart, and that has been working well for me. But how do you fit that into the budget as well? Or, because I notice you have a balance, just like my pastor does. He says, you pay your tithes. Yes, biblical teaching. And that's the law of the land. That's what God placed on this earth. That's a part of his blessing plan. However, if you have bills to pay that you're accrued, pay your bills. Okay. Don't go in debt, and you need to believe God. And also, you can pay your tithes in time, and through giving in the church or charitable organizations, through volunteer work or whatever, until if you're in the lower scale and you can't afford everything but your expenses, basic needs. One thing to look at is that you can put forth your time. So how do you feel about, give us the dynamic between your budget and tithing?
So let's say you do your budget and you say, okay, I'm going to put tithing as a priority. And you put it there. And then when you come down to the bottom, you're at negative something. And you got to start cutting out stuff. This is when it comes to prioritizing. And there are just some things that are a priority, like food, shelter, gas, so that you can get to work and continue to have food and shelter. And so when it comes to tithing, I think that it's more so about where your heart is. And God understands our desires, but sometimes we're not always in a place to where it is the wisest thing for us to do. And I've been in a position where my dad has been my pastor for majority of my life, but my dad's always pastored out of town. And so when I became 18, I decided I wanted to find a church in like my local city instead of traveling almost 2 hours every week just to go to church.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and I did that for like majority of my life. And at the new church, there was just this pressure on giving that was a little intense, like way more than I experienced growing up.
Wow.
And so I actually gave so irresponsibly. And I was not blessed because of it either. I actually struggled a lot. And then I began to think, well, what's wrong with my faith? Why am I struggling? Like I'm giving, but I still am struggling real bad.
We'll be right back right after this break. Hi guys, this is Temia Brinson from the Mindset for Success show, and this month we're going to be talking about finances. That's right, I call it February, the month of financial freedom. Okay, so go ahead and get ready because we're going to be talking about getting your personal finances together. We're going to be talking about things you need to know about the stock market and cryptocurrency. So get ready to take notes, get out your paper and your pen, and be sure to tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. on the Daily Gospel Network.
Natural disasters can happen anywhere. You can protect yourself by planning ahead. ConsumerFinance.gov has the information you need to make a plan and help safeguard your financial future in the event of a disaster. Whether you're at risk of hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, wildfires, or earthquakes, here are 3 steps you can take right now to protect yourself financially and weather any storm. Step 1. Download FEMA's Emergency Financial First Aid Kit and fill it out. Gathering all of the paperwork and filling out the forms may take some time, but it'll be worth it if disaster strikes. Once you complete the kit, you'll have everything you need in one place. You'll have gathered important documents like your ID and your Social Security card. You'll have written down the phone numbers and account numbers to your credit card companies, utility companies, insurance companies, and more. If you need to apply for disaster aid or contact your insurance company, you'll want this info on hand. Step 2. Find a safe space to store the kit and the documents you've gathered. ConsumerFinance.gov recommends that you make a copy and store the original and the copy in separate places. If it's digital, password protect it, and if it's printed or on a thumb drive, make sure to store it in a waterproof and fireproof container. Step 3. Make sure you understand your insurance options and the extent of your coverage in case of a disaster. Renters, homeowners, and auto insurance policies generally don't cover all aspects of a disaster. You may need to look into specialized coverage, like earthquake insurance and flood insurance. A weekend of prep now can save you months of frustration and lots of money if your property is damaged in a disaster. For more information on how you can protect your property and finances, and to download an emergency financial first aid kit before disaster strikes, visit consumerfinance.gov/prepare.
And now, let's continue with our discussion.
And so I just think that all we can do is do our best. And I don't think that we necessarily have to worry so much sometimes about these specific black and white laws or logistics. Like, for example, I totally think we should be baptized, but if a young boy gets saved out somewhere and there's no water, I don't think he's going to go to hell just because they couldn't find the water to dunk that boy in. And I don't think you're going to go to hell just because you choose to pay your light bill.
Right.
Instead of paying your tithes. And so this is
when you're blessed down the road, you can pay up on your tithes. And then you can pay down on your tithes. And like you said before, you can cut the cable and pay your tithes.
Right.
So we're not, just to be clear, we're not saying don't pay your tithes. We're just saying don't go to the extreme to the point that if you don't have food on the table, you got to pay your tithes too. That's, God didn't write down their principle for this purpose. Please know that.
And think about it this way. I think that at the end of the day, we all need to have a personal relationship with God, and that we need to seek Him about what we should do. And just trust the wisdom that's instilled in us. And this is where the budgeting will come handy, because it'll help you to see, because there were times when I didn't think twice about it. I didn't plan, and I just immediately paid my tithes at the top. And then later on, I realized, like, oh, dang, I can't pay this bill. And so then I realized if I just laid it out, I could get wisdom, and I could get guidance, and I could know what direction that I needed to go. And then I think that we should take the guilt away as well. I remember there was a point where my dad made $75 a week. because he was a young pastor. The church wasn't that big. And it was 4 of us that he raising.
Wow.
He had it in his heart to give.
Mm.
He did, but he did not have it, like literally. And so, but now my dad tithes more than what he used to make in a year. And so God has blessed him, but all along it was a heart issue, and God always knew my dad's heart. And I believe God knows your heart. And don't let
Right.
anybody try to pressure you or make you push you into giving, because at the end of the day, God wants a cheerful giver. So you budget and you plan, and then you give when you're able to, and you'll feel so blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm glad you brought that up, pressured giving, because I was so taken back when I read that. You said you took out a loan to pay $1,000 in the what was the yearly pastor, I
Yeah,
think the pastor anniversary or whatever, just because you felt the pressure of not giving.
I
I was
felt
like,
so much
oh my
pressure.
goodness.
And me, I'm a really, how do I put it? I like to give. I'm that person. Like some people, that day probably ain't phased them. They probably look like that's good for y'all. They don't care what other people think. Me,
Right.
I don't care what other people think, especially what my pastor thought. I wanted to be obedient. I wanted to give. I wanted all the blessings that, all the praise reports they continually talked about that came with giving this $1,000. And so I was really just naive, and I gave, but it wasn't technically giving. It was a student loan that paying back with
I
interest.
mean, yeah, especially you took out a loan for it. Yeah.
I took out a loan. It was right around that time. And you could, and I didn't really need to take out a student loan at all, which was so sad because I had full scholarship.
Oh, wow.
But it was a big
Wonderful.
loan, and I took it.
Oh, wow. Well, Kiara, thank you for coming on the show. Let me ask you, where can they find your book?
Anywhere books are sold.
Anywhere
Walmart,
books-
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Apple, Kindle. I've even seen it in other countries, like where I can't read the language on the website, and the only thing that I see is the book. So if you just Google The Blueprint by Kiara Hall, you'll find tons of ways that you can get the book, or you can go to my website, thelegacyengineer.com, which will take you to a link. So thelegacyengineer.com, and it'll take you to a link where you can pre-order it. I will not pre-order it, but order it.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and get the book. I'm telling you, she has a section in there called Halls, HALLS, Goals. And this is a very good tool that you can use in your life. And we're not going to go into it because I want you to get the book, okay? Go ahead and do that. I'm Temia Brinson from Mindset for Success, and thank you for watching the show. Be sure to tune in next Monday at 9 p.m.
You have the mindset for success. If you're looking for positivity,